The History of the Forgotten War. Korean War, 1950 through 1953, and afterwards. To the readers of this cartoon book, I hope that this book will teach you how the Korean people endured the Korean War and its aftermath, how so many sons and daughters from so many nations came to defend a country they never knew and people they never met, and how the Republic of Korea ultimately became a free and prosperous nation. The Korean War is a story of victory in which 63 nations sacrificed their blood, efforts, and materials to help a country in turmoil. However, the reality is that the Korean War has not ended. 6 decades have passed since the division of North and South Korea and the signing of the Armistice Agreement. North Korea has not stopped its provocations. Just in the recent years, North Korea sank the South Korean patrol craft, which killed innocent sailors, and shelled South Korea's Yeonpyeong Island during broad daylight. This war that has yet to end reminds us about the value of freedom and peace. We remain grateful to the nations that helped to secure South Korea's freedom and will never forget. We will assist other people and their nations in achieving peace and prosperity. Please share this book with your friends and family. From the author. One day in August, in a house located in a small town outside of Seoul.
How's the studying coming along? Have some fruit while you study. What's wrong, Chang?
I'm reading about the Korean War, which broke out on June 25th, 1950, and it's so difficult to understand, Grandpa.
Well, then, would you like me to help you?
Really? You're the best, Grandpa. Grandpa, did you fight in the war holding a rifle?
Why, yes. All Korean men went to the battlefield holding a rifle.
Wow, Grandpa, you were very brave. Tell us more about it.
You should be quiet so he can tell us.
Oh, well, okay. I'll tell you what you want to know, so don't quarrel with each other.
Yay!
Let's study about the Korean War together. First, let me tell you what happened before the war broke out. On August 6, 1945, an atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, and then another one on the 9th on Nagasaki, Japan. This forced Japan, who started the World War II, to surrender to the United States on August 15, 1945. In effect, Korea was liberated from 36 long years of Japanese occupation. Liberation.
Hooray for Korea's independence!
Every Korean rushed out to the streets, holding taegukgi, the national flag of Korea, and cried out, "The independence of Korea!"
Hooray for the independence of Korea! Hooray!
The establishment of the Korean government. On August 15, 1948, Dr. Ri Seung-man was inaugurated as the first president of the Republic of Korea. Since it was regarded as the birth of a truly independent nation, this day became a national holiday.
Then the constabulary, the parent organization of the Korean Army, was established.
Wow, that's awesome.
The Coast Guard, which later became the Navy, was also established.
They're impressive.
Our soldiers are the best.
We'll protect our nation and our people.
Sailors are also the best.
Although the nation became divided into South and North due to various reasons, a liberal democracy was blooming in South Korea.
So you couldn't meet your parents in the north?
That's true.
What a pity.
The communists had more goals than we had expected.
Meanwhile, the Allied forces that brought democratic victory in World War II returned home to their beloved country and family.
However, the Soviet Union wanted to commonize the world.
Korea faced a tragedy that split the nation in the middle at the 38th parallel. The Soviet Army took over North Korea before August 15th and communized it, while acting as if they owned it. North Korea. The U.S. Armed Forces helped South Korea defend itself against communist aggression and gain autonomous national sovereignty. South Korea. The illegal invasion by North Korea on June 25, 1950.
The communists waited carefully for an opportunity to commonize the South.
We promise to follow Soviet Union's example and establish a communist nation on the Korean peninsula. We need assistance from Soviet Union and Red China. Kim Il-sung.
In April 1950, Kim Il-sung visited Moscow to get agreement for the invasion of the South.
Comrades, we need to communize the entire world. We will actively help you. So fight with all your might. Stalin. Stalin not only signed the agreement for the invasion of South Korea, but he also promised to provide weapons and war supplies. In May 1950, Kim Il-sung visited China and obtained approval to go to war. Tell us what you need. We promise to help. Since we will provide manpower, Stalin should supply you with the tanks, aircrafts, and cannons. Mao Zedong.
Early Sunday morning on June 25, 1950, while everyone was deep asleep, North Korean soldiers invaded the South, crossing over the 38th parallel.
The total number of soldiers, including Chinese soldiers, was approximately 200,000.
With the help of the Soviet Union and China, North Korea quickly turned South Korea into a ring of fire.
An emergency session of the United Nations Security Council was held, but the Soviet Union did not attend.
USSR seat.
Before democracy could fully bloom in the South, Korea faced a crisis as a result of the brutal invasion by the Communist North. They were like starving wolves lusting after human blood.
The Communist soldiers from the North attacked the South, equipped with powerful tanks, aircrafts, and cannons that were not available in the South.
What? Then what were our soldiers doing when the North Korean army was invading?
It was very early morning on a Sunday, so many soldiers stayed out overnight or were away on leave.
Oh no, how could they attack the South in such a cowardly manner?
They are so bad.
North Korean occupation of Seoul on June 28th. 3 days after their sudden attack, the Communist North Korean army occupied Seoul.
Let's destroy everything!
Seoul fell into complete chaos. The Han River Bridge was destroyed before citizens of Seoul could escape from the capital city. The United States called on the United Nations Security Council to pass a resolution to end North Korea's aggression and to establish the United Nations Command.
The North Korean army must be sent back to the north of the 38th parallel. We must halt the North Korean invasion of South Korea by organizing the United Nations Command.
We agree.
We will send our troops as well. Let's go to Korea as soon as possible to defend them.
The United Nations Command was immediately formed, and General Douglas MacArthur of the United States Army was appointed as its supreme commander.
You mean they joined the war to defend a country and people they never knew or met?
That's correct. They joined to save Korea from falling under communists.
In the early morning of June 26, 1950, South Korea's patrol craft PC-701 Paektusan sunk an enemy vessel near the Busan port and brought great victory. The North Korea's cargo ship was secretly heading toward the Busan port to infiltrate 600 special forces who were disguised as ordinary civilians.
However, South Korea learned of this plan and ordered Baekdusan PC-701 to intercept. The North Korean vessel attempted to attack with cannons, but Baekdusan PC-701 retaliated, using gunfire and ultimately sank the vessel.
Bye.
If the vessel had successfully landed in Busan, the Korean War could have ended in a victory for North Korea.
That is horrible.
It really was a critical moment, Grandpa.
That's right. Now let's take a look at the battles that occurred during the Korean War.
In the front lines, the Battle of Chuncheon, the 57mm anti-tank gun of the 6th Division of the Republic of Korea Army defeated two self-propelled gun Su-76 of the North Korean Army on June 25, 1950.
Second Lieutenant Shimil, 2nd Platoon Leader, destroyed the turret by throwing a grenade and firebomb.
The Battle of Dongnagri. The 2nd Battalion, 7th Regiment of the 6th Division annihilated a North Korean regiment that invaded Dongnagri village on July 6, 1950.
Our soldiers, who were more than willing to defend the nation, were so brave.
Everyone in the regiment was promoted one rank. The Battle of Osan, first battle between the United States and North Korea. Task Force Smith of the 24th Division of U.S. Army in Japan was dispatched on July 1st, 1950.
The U.S. faced its first battle against the North Korean army, advancing south towards Osan on July 5, 1950. Later, Osan City built the Battle of Osan Monument to pay tribute to the 181 American soldiers who were killed in action.
The epitaph. The United Nations was established to defend freedom. These souls endured 6 hours and 15 minutes of brutal battle, but now rest in peace here. They will never be forgotten.
I appreciate and feel sympathy for the American soldiers who came from so far away and gave their lives in battle.
They died in defense of Korea against the communists. That's
so
so
sad.
sad. The communists are horrible.
The battle in defense of Daejeon.
Commander, we are in dangerous situation, sir.
Major General William Dean couldn't stand the brutality of the North Korean forces and stepped forward on the front lines to hunt the enemy tanks. He courageously fired a 3.5-inch rocket launcher at the tanks.
At one point, Major General Dean destroyed a T-34 tank armed with only a hand grenade and a handgun.
The battle in defense of the front line in Nakdong River. If Nakdong River is taken by the enemy forces, Daegu as well as the Busan perimeter will fall. Defend Nakdong at all costs. It is the last stand.
From the sky, the B-29 bombers initiated carpet bombing on the North Korean forces.
Although the enemy tried to resist, they were simply no match for the United Nations forces.
Walker Line, the defense line of Nakdong River.
Stand or die, we must fight until the end. We're going to hold this line. Lieutenant General Holton H. Walker, Commander of the United States 8th Army.
Charge! I won't forgive anyone who runs away! Brigadier General Pak Sun-yup, Commander of Republic of Korea Army, 1st Infantry Division.
The two commanders, Walker and Pak, bravely held down the front lines of the battlefields in the Busan perimeter.
Their valor in the face of death is memorialized in our hearts.
Wow, did they fight and lead their soldiers while holding on to guns? I respect them so much.
The Battle of Nakdong River was that significant. And finally, the large-scale counterattack of the United Nations Command all began with Incheon landing operation. By the end of the Korean War, they both earned the rank of general.
Incheon landing operation. On September 15, 1950, the United Nations Command finally ordered a major amphibious operation at Incheon.
The United Nations Command was impressively organized with countless fleets and fighter aircrafts.
The North Korean forces, faced against the United States Marine Corps and the Republic of Korea Marine Corps, were like rats facing cats.
Charge! Don't spare a single enemy!
The Incheon landing operation started from Walmi Island and continued to the capture of Seoul.
Yikes.
The recapture of Seoul. On September 28, 1950, 2nd Lieutenant Park Jung-mo of the Republic of Korea Marine Corps raised the national flag at the Central Government Building in Seoul.
On the day of the nation's capital was recaptured, everyone shed tears of joy.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Hooray for Korea!
General Douglas MacArthur of the U.S. Army and President Seung-man Rhee of Republic of Korea. Advancing toward the north. On October 1, 1950, following the recapture of Seoul, the United Nations Command pushed northward to save the people in North Korea from the communists.
Advance to the north. What we all want is unification through liberty.
Yikes. Let's run away.
The South Korean Army crossed the 38th parallel and advanced to the Yalu River without stopping.
Everyone, charge ahead!
Yum, it tastes so good.
We can drink from the Yalu River every day when our nation is unified.
Our imminent victory has been ruined by the United Nations Command. Kim Il-sung.
Wow, Grandpa, we won the war.
No, just when we were happy at the thought of unification, the Chinese People's Volunteer Army intervened.
The intervention of the Chinese People's Volunteer Army. Communist China invested in an enormously large number of soldiers to assist North Korea in the war. We will fully attack through the use of human wave tactics. Mao Zedong.
Is that a colony of ants or humans?
They are pouring down endlessly.
I'm about to lose my mind with the mere sound of that gong.
As a result of the human wave tactics of the Communist Chinese Army, the United Nations Command were forced to withdraw from Pyongyang, North Korea on December 4th, 1950. To seek freedom, people in North Korea fled to the south, crossing the Daedong River broken railroad bridge.
We have to go south to seek freedom, even if it's temporary? Why do I have to flee from my hometown again?
The Battle of Choshin Reservoir, November 27th through December 11th, 1950, and the Hungnam Evacuation Operation, December 15th through December 24th, 1950. The freezing winter, with a temperature 30 degrees Celsius below zero, was too challenging for the soldiers of the United Nations Command.
The winter in Korea is so cold.
There is no retreat for us. From now on, we advance towards the sea. The U.S. Marines. The Navy and the Marine Corps Aviation provided full support. Eventually, the United Nations Command led the people out of North Korea through the Hungnam Pier.
Dad, I'm not going alone without you.
Gumsun, go first and I'll meet you there soon.
The 10th Corps of the United States Army and the 1st Corps of the Republic of Korea Army safely transported 100,000 refugees out of the Hungnam Pier to Goje Island in South Korea.
After the successful evacuation of the refugees, the Hungnam Pier was blown up, and the refugees arrived safely to Goje Island.
The retreat from the capital city of Seoul on January 4th, 1951. Overwhelmed by the advances of the Communist Chinese Army, citizens of Seoul were forced to leave Seoul again on January 4th, 1951, to seek protection elsewhere.
Many families were divided while people flocked to board on trains.
Sonny!
Mommy!
Soon the streets were filled with lost children who had nowhere to sleep at night. Where do we sleep tonight?
I'm hungry, Mom.
The refugees had to live in tents. Sometimes they even dug holes and lived inside them.
Life of the refugees. Starving orphans climbed the mountains and peeled the bark off the trees to fill their stomachs.
It smells good.
And they made porridge with the bark.
I can't believe they had to eat tree bark and nothing else was available to eat.
I feel so bad for them. I can hardly believe it.
But it really happened. Food was so scarce at the time. Now, we can eat delicious fruit like these anytime we want. That is because we safeguarded freedom. The North is filled with starving children even today.
On March 18, 1951, the United Nations Command finally recaptured Seoul after a series of counterattacks.
Meanwhile, the North Korean army convened the People's Court and killed many innocent people.
Such a rebel. Why won't you cooperate?
I didn't do anything wrong.
Shut up, you traitor.
Let's run away!
Oh no, it's the United Nations Command. With the recapture of Seoul, we were able to save many innocent lives.
Oh no!
Ah!
The battles of the Allied members of the United Nations Command. United Kingdom, 63,000 troops participated in this war.
The Battle of Whitehorse Highlands, October 6th through the 15th, 1952. The Highlands at 395, northwest of Cheolwon, a grand victory of the Republic of Korea and United States Armed Forces.
France, 3,421 troops participated, won the Battle of Ji-Pyong-ri in February 3rd through the 17th, 1951, with the Republic of Korea and United States Armed Forces.
The Battle of Tosol Mountain. The Republic of Korea Marine Corps and the United States Marine Corps annihilated Chinese People's Volunteer Army, which had outnumbered them and occupied 24 objectives.
President Syngman Rhee bestowed them the title of the Invincible Marine Corps.
Turkey, 14,936 troops participated.
Hey, we both don't know English, but let's try to enjoy an American cartoon together.
Canada, 25,687 troops participated.
Australia, 8,400 407 troops participated. Australians won the Battle of Kapyong.
South Africa, 826 troops participated.
Thailand, 6,326 troops participated.
Belgium, 3,498 troops participated.
Luxembourg, 83 troops participated.
Ethiopia, 3,518 troops participated.
Philippines, 7,420 troops participated.
New Zealand, 3,794 troops participated.
Greece, 4,992 troops participated.
Colombia, 5,100 troops participated.
Netherlands, 5,322 troops.
1,789,000 men and women from the United States participated in the Korean War. They fought valiantly against the Communists.
Veterans of the Korean War included the sons of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, U.S. Army General James Van Fleet, Commander Mark W. Clark, General Walton Walker, whose son also fought in the war, died in battle. You know, numerous nations participated in the Korean War.
I heard that there were also student soldiers who fought. What happened to them?
Oh, that's a good question, Chang.
The volunteer student soldiers. To secure a liberal democracy in South Korea, students tossed their books and pencils and jumped into combat.
I won't be able to study once the country is communized.
I cannot stay still and study amidst the national crisis.
We are nothing without our nation. Let's return to Korea and fight against the communists.
South Korean students studying abroad in Japan hurried back to Korea in defense of their nation.
Approximately 50,000 students returned to fight in the war.
Every corner of the country, including Incheon, Cheongju, Daejeon, Gunsan, Jeonju, Yeosu, Suncheon, Daegu, and Pohang, they engaged in battles.
Students in Daegu were trained as special forces. They sailed on the landing ship tank, LST, Munsan, and landed on Jansedong Beach, located in the northern part of Pohang.
After they landed, they faced a brutal battle against the North Korean forces. 139 young student soldiers died while on board the LST Munsan. The Battle of Jangsadong resulted in the ultimate sacrifice of many student soldiers who died while defending South Korea's freedom and is etched in Korean history. The release of anti-communist prisoners of war. Among 37,000 North Korean prisoners, 27,092 chose liberal democracy, and they did not want to return to their hometown in the North. It was amazing.
Release the North Korean prisoners who choose freedom. President Ri ordered on June 15, 1953.
Don't send us back to the North. Give us freedom. We want to stay in democratic Korea. We have been deceived by the North to point guns on our brothers.
With the decision of President Ri, the anti-communism prisoners of war imprisoned in Yeongcheon, Daegu, Nonsan, Masan, Busan camp, etc., were able to embrace in the arms of freedom.
Give us freedom!
I cannot breathe in North Korea, where no human rights is guaranteed. I would rather die trying to escape from the North.
Second Lieutenant Cho Chang-ho escaped from North Korea in 1994 in search of freedom in South Korea.
However, North Korea did not fully release its prisoners of war. Even now, many soldiers of the Republic of Korea Army are still held in North Korea. Armistice Agreement, July 27, 1953. Major General Harris of U.S. Army and Namil of North Korea signed the Armistice Agreement.
Many Koreans who desired unification took the streets and protested.
How can we accept the ceasefire agreement? We want unification. Let's force the unification by invading the North.
Darn! Thus, Korea was divided again into South and North, owing to a strategy called armistice.
Grandpa, so we owe our freedom to the veterans of Korean War, right?
That's right. Without their sacrifices, we could have ended up living an awful life under oppression from the communist regime in the North.